Coming up, winning streaks and losing streaks continued across the NBA last night, and our Locked On NBA hosts are here to tell you what each of them means and how it all happened, just in case you missed anything. This is Locked On Now.
The biggest games, the best performances, expert analysis. You are Locked On Now.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to Locked On Now NBA, local experts with the biggest stories on the hardwood. I'm your host, Daniella Bruce, and thank you for making Locked On Now your first to listen every weekday. Our Locked On NBA hosts are here to help break down everything from Monday night. The Grizzlies continued their hot streak with a convincing win in Miami in our biggest game.
The biggest game.
The Memphis Grizzlies are on a huge tear and built on with a fifth straight win in a convincing fashion in Miami. Memphis handled the Heat with little trouble in what Locked On Grizzlies calls the most impressive win of the season so far.
The Memphis Grizzlies made it 5 wins in a row, and not only 5 wins in a row, 5 wins and 20 straight quarters where they have played without being behind. 20 straight quarters with the lead for the Memphis Grizzlies. Sean Coleman here with Locked On Grizzlies. Once again, it was impressive performances from Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr., but the starting lineup for the Grizzlies truly made the difference, especially in an unexpected way from Dillon Brooks. Only the second time in his career with 20-plus points, 8-plus assists, tying a career high, and 2-plus steals. Also helped to hold Jimmy Butler to 4 of 13 from the field, showing that he was able to impact the game both defensively and offensively, even though his shot struggled a bit tonight. And then, of course, Steven Adams, who has put back-to-back games. Saturday night against Dallas was his best game in the Grizzlies uniform. He surpassed that tonight. 16 points, 17 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds, joining Andre Drummond as the only players this year with 7 or more offensive rebounds in 4 games. Adams is really starting to establish his role with the Grizzlies. A 5th straight win, and considering the opponent, the most impressive of that 5-game stretch. Another important game against Dallas on Wednesday night, where the Grizzlies can really establish a good hold on the Southwest Division and a top 4 placement in the Western Conference as we head to the middle of December. That and much more on the post-game edition of the Locked On Grizzlies podcast. Have a great night. Go Grizzlies.
Giannis Antetokounmpo turned 27, and the Milwaukee Bucks got him a win at home to celebrate. Locked On Bucks dives into how Milwaukee beat Cleveland on Monday.
What's up, everyone? Kane Pittman here from Locked On Bucks. And Milwaukee pick up a win. They beat the Cavs 112-104 to celebrate the birthday of Giannis. He's 27 years old. Can you believe that this man is still only 27? It's absolutely ridiculous, but he turned it on in the fourth quarter. This was a game that wasn't perfect. There was some defensive breakdowns. The offense looked a little bit scratchy at times, but in the end, 15 points in the fourth quarter from Giannis carried them home. 27 points for his 27th birthday. That feels right. That feels perfect. And ultimately, the Bucks now 16-9 on the season. They've won 10 out of 11, and they hold an 11-0 record with Giannis, Drew, and Chris in the lineup. That's not bad. They've still got some bodies out. They're trying to work guys into the lineup. Boogie Cousins played significant minutes tonight as well. So there's still things to work out for this team. But in the meantime, they keep winning. And most importantly, they celebrate Giannis' birthday with a win. They're now 4-0 when they play on his birthday, which is nice. You got to celebrate this man with a win. We're going to break it all down on the post-game pod. Frank is going to join me wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, if you haven't watched on YouTube yet, make sure you do it. Subscribe on YouTube. Locked On Bucks post-game show coming right up.
The Phoenix Suns lost their big win streak over the weekend, but got right back to winning on Monday at home against the Spurs. Our Locked On Suns host tells us how Phoenix got to 20 wins before anybody else.
Phoenix Suns first team to 20 wins on the season. They lose their win streak over the weekend to the Golden State Warriors, but bounce back with a home win over the Spurs. Chris Paul, fourth quarter magic. More incredible clutch play from this team. Brendan Clean here from Locked On Suns, coming to you right after the win here at Footprint Center, which has had many, many wonderful nights so far this season. The Suns keep winning. They keep proving that their season last year was no fluke at all. Again, becoming the first NBA team this year to 20 wins. and we'll see where this goes next. More Magic here. No Devin Booker with that hamstring injury still. No Abdul Nader. No Frank Kaminsky. They are getting thin, and yet still finding a way with that team play and clutch magic to go ahead and get these wins. For more on the Suns, listen to Locked On Suns wherever you get podcasts.
Coming up, the Chicago Bulls found a way to win after finding out they'd be down a star. This is Locked On Now NBA. BetOnline has you covered all season long with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues its march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all sports action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, the NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for the 2021 seasons. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet all of your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Welcome back to Locked On Now NBA. I'm Daniella Bruce, and the Bulls had to play the Nuggets without DeMar DeRozan, but won anyway, and the win was good enough for our best performance.
The best performance.
Hold up.
The Chicago Bulls found out they would be without DeMar DeRozan just hours before tip-off against the Nuggets last night as he entered the NBA health protocols. But Zach LaVine stepped up and got Chicago its fourth straight win anyway over Denver. Our Locked On Bulls host goes over all the pieces that helped fill in for the missing star.
What's up, Bulls Nation? Matt Peck here from Locked On Bulls with your post-game takeaway. The Bulls win their fourth in a row. 109-97 is the final over the visiting Denver Nuggets. That's a season sweep over Denver. And tonight's game was all about the big breaking news just a few hours before tip-off. The Bulls superstar DeMar DeRozan, who's been doing everything for him this season, out and in the league's health and safety protocol. So who would step up in DeMar's absence? Well, Zach LaVine led the way with 32 points, but the entire squad stepped up to fill that void of DeMar DeRozan. The Bulls also without Alex Caruso with a hamstring, and two other players, Javonte Green and Kobe White, in health and safety protocols. Lonzo Ball and Nikola Vucevic, both with 20-point double-doubles. And how about the rookie Ayo Dosunmu in his first ever NBA career start? 42 minutes, 11 points, 6 boards, and how about 8 assists for the rookie, who might not be handling the ball a whole lot in his role with the Bulls right now, but reminded everybody tonight, I played a fair amount of point guard at U of I. A big team win for the Bulls, filling in for that void of DeMar DeRozan. The Bulls now with 17 wins, most in the Eastern Conference, and hopefully the absence of DeMar DeRozan is brief. The Bulls have the Cavs on deck on Wednesday. For a full breakdown of this win over the Denver Nuggets, check out tomorrow's episode of Locked On Bulls with me and my guy, Big Dave, wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Bulls, your team every day.
The Indiana Pacers put together a solid team performance to beat the Wizards at home, but Domantas Sabonis also put together an outstanding 30-point night individually. Locked On Pacers goes over a long list of positives from Indianapolis.
Tony East here, the host of Locked On Pacers, on the court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where the Pacers win a game. No, really. The Pacers won a game. They completely smashed the Wizards. It didn't look like it on the final score, 116-110, only a 6-point win, but the Pacers went up 8 late in the first quarter, and the lead really never got close. They were up double digits for almost the entire game, and it was a really nice performance from a Pacers team desperate for a good game. They had 6 players in double figures. Domantas Sabonis had the ball coming his way often. He had 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. They hit their threes finally. They were really sharing it. Their defensive effort was very, very impressive. Caris LeVert had one of his best defensive games of the season, which Rick Carlisle noted post-game, and for a team that had lost 4 in a row last week and was looking at a sunken place this season, it was really impressive to see this Pacers team come out, play with some force, play with some pop, and beat a good Wizards team that's up much higher than them in the standings in the Eastern Conference. This is the way the Pacers need to play going forward if they want to kind of turn their season around. They finally got their 10th win. They looked good doing it, and we'll break it all down and more on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
The Washington Wizards are on a 3-game losing streak for the first time this season. Washington has been one of the surprise successes of the season so far, and Locked On Wizards hope that this isn't the start of the regression of the mean.
Hello, it is Deontay Daniels, host of the Locked On Wizards podcast.
The Washington Wizards lose. First 3-game losing streak of the season. They lose 116 to 110 to the Indiana Pacers. The score does not represent the entire game. They only lost by 6, but it was bad. It was bad. Once again, the Washington Wizards offensively, they did better than in previous performances. Bradley Beal dropped an efficient 34 points on 12 and 19 shooting. They put up 110, but they couldn't stop anybody. Sabonis dropped 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 11 for 15 from the field, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. The Wizards' interior defense is a big problem. It's a big problem. They got 31 put ahead by Siakam and 30 tonight by Sabonis. The interior defense has to improve, and it's because it's so much dribble penetration. The big has to come help. Next thing you know, Sabonis is getting another and one.
The Atlanta Hawks broke a team record in three-pointers and used all 75 points that they got from them to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Locked On Hawks has more from a historic night for Atlanta.
Hello, friends. My name is Brad Rowland, and the Atlanta Hawks go on the road on this Monday evening and pick up a nice double-digit win over the Minnesota Timberwolves, a final score of 121 to 110. And the big headline of the evening is the Hawks setting a new franchise record with 25 three-pointers in this game. Also a season-high of three-point attempts. They were bombing away throughout the contest, and really that was the story of the night, up and down the roster. It was balanced effort TLC with a season-high in points, three-pointers, career-high stuff there as well. The Hawks were just, again, bombing away. Gallinari, Trae Young, John Collins, Kevin Huerter, everybody was in the act in this game, and that kind of overcame a lot of other issues in this spot. It was back-to-back for the Hawks, not for the Wolves. The Hawks did not shoot well inside the arc, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when you shoot as well as the Hawks did from long range. From here, the Hawks actually have 3 days off in the schedule, where they return to action on Friday evening against the Brooklyn Nets at home. And with this win, the Hawks can savor it because they're now back over 500 for the season, 13-12 through 25 games. And with that win, the Hawks can sort of enjoy a day off on Tuesday before getting back to work with some practice time on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll have complete coverage of this game and much, much more on the Locked On Hawks podcast.
The Los Angeles Clippers and the Portland Trail Blazers entered their game on Monday night with very similar stories. Both teams who consider themselves playoff teams, but have a lot of questions right now. The Blazers need to figure out what to do without Damian Lillard for a while, and the Clippers had lost 4 of 5 heading into Monday night. Our Locked On Blazers host and our Locked On Clippers host help us understand who took a step in the right direction in our late game.
The shorthanded Blazers lose 102-90. On a night they just didn't have enough guns and they ran out of talent in the final 3 minutes. I'm Mike Richmond, host of Locked On Blazers, and without Damian Lillard, without CJ McCollum, without, just enough horses to win the game, they hung with the Los Angeles Clippers and were in it until the final 3 minutes. Just came up short. Ran out of talent at the end. 31 points for Yusuf Nurkic, 29 for Norman Powell. They were really good. They needed some more help. They needed a little more offense, and they didn't have it. The losing streak runs to 3. Now it's off to Golden State on Wednesday. Make sure you listen to Locked On Blazers for more.
What's going on, Clips fans? Chuck Mockler here, one half of the hosting duo over at Locked On Clippers, coming at you after the Clippers grind out a 102-90 win over the Blazers in Portland. The defense showed up in this one. They held the Blazers to only a handful of points in the last 4 minutes, and the offense technically was there. We scored 102 points, which at this point in the Clippers season kind of feels like something to celebrate. Paul George had 21 points, didn't make a 3, but we got the win. Reggie Jackson had 16, 6, and 6. We needed all of it. Luke Kennard got the start in this one and was efficient from the get-go. Hey, we needed the win. It's been a bit of a slog with Nick Batum out. Hopefully he's back for the game on Wednesday against the Celtics so we can keep this win streak going.
And that's a wrap for us today. Thank you all for making Locked On Now your first listen every weekday. For more on the association and your favorite team, make sure your second listens are Locked On NBA and your local Locked On podcast. I'm Daniella Bruce, and this has been Locked On Now.